The views and content expressed on the following program are provided solely for informational and entertainment purposes. They do not constitute legal advice. A podcast is not a substitute for retaining a competent, licensed attorney to advise you on your specific legal situation.
Break the business, play is work and work is play. Power into creators, have fun along the way. Break the business, doing what it takes. Celebrate success and learn from the mistakes.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the show. It is time for Break the Business, where we empower indie creators and have some fun along the way. I'm Ryan Kairalla, and it is a pleasure to have you here this week. I'm overjoyed. We got a fun show. Rather than just having me talk and do that thing where it's like you and me talking for a while and I leave the co-host waiting, I very much adore this co-host, so I just want to bring her on right away so I can talk to her. Elisa, how you doing, Elisa?
Hello. It's good to be
Oh.
back.
It
Hi.
is good to be here with you, my dear, my favorite person to have on the show. Internet, social media maven, voiceover artist, literal PhD in pop culture. So yeah, you can't dispute that one, all right? The other ones might be qualitative judgments where you're like, oh, pish posh. But you having a doctorate is an objective truth, so you can't swat that one away with your imposter
They
syndrome.
did let me graduate, actually. That is on my transcript. I did sneak out with that one for sure.
Oh, wonderful to see you. I always have a smile on my face when I see you pop across the screen, and I know the viewers and the listeners feel the same way. I also know that at any point during this broadcast, we might be joined by a second voice, which is your house cat audibly hawking up hairballs, because we've had that during the pre-show.
Aw. She could well, for the viewing audience who get the benefit of seeing this live, you could kind of see a little bit of her tail. She's now sitting behind my chair after spending a very unpleasant time around this room in various safe spots, hacking up a hairball. So that was super fun. Right before the show, I was like, I'm gonna make sure that my cat's fine.
Oh. We don't have a lot of rules here at Break the Business, but one of them is when a pet shows up, they're always welcome, and we encourage them to be on camera. There, we see your cat just popping in there. Your cat knows the rules. Some of our best moments, at least, so you agree, are when cats and dogs interrupt interviews.
Absolutely. That's the best.
It is a rich and storied tradition in podcasting, and so we're, of course, very happy to see Ruby. Also happy to be joined in our next segment by our guest this week, Helen Hong, really terrific stand-up comedian, podcaster, actress. You and I, Elisa, have kind of a special connection to her art because we're both very big fans of her podcast network that she's on with her podcast,
Yes.
Go Fact Yourself, the Maximum Fun Network. We love the podcasts on that. You
Sure
actually
do.
got me turned on to Max Fun because you were the one who got me interested in My Brother and Me.
Yes. A classic.
Yes. And since then, I've sort of gone into the Maximum Fun rabbit hole, whether it's Adventure Zone or Mission to Zix or Beef and Dairy Network or Helen Hong's podcast, Go Fact Yourself with J. Keith Van Stratton. Excited to hear her talk about that because I know we're both kind of interested in the artist run aspect of that podcast network. That's super cool. Helen also has a stand-up special coming out, or is already out, I should say, called Well Hung. It's available on the streaming platforms.
Great.
And we always have fun when the stand-up comics show up, right? I remember we had Chris Gethard on a few months back. That was a
Yes.
blast.
That was a great show.
Yeah. Love it. So that's coming up. Don't go anywhere for that. And before we get to any of that, I have to do another time-honored tradition of Break the Business, which is Make It About Me. And so we're going to make it about me for a bit. I got some announcements, personal things going on that I'd love to share with everybody before we get into our news. Oh, I like that. I think we got that in the clear. I think we can save that as a sound and make that the official Ryan is making it about him sound effect.
Wonderful. It's
I
an honor
have-
and a privilege.
There you go. I have
My
to
voice is
share with
in me.
you, Elisa, a piece of kind of crappy news,
Oh.
but we will kind of smooth it out with a piece of fantastically wonderful news.
Okay.
And much as people have told me in my life, you always like to get the bad news first so you can be showered with good news.
Gotta sandwich it. Yeah.
That's right. That's what we're yes. Producer Lauren has just titled our segment, Ryan is making it about him.
Beautiful.
Please keep that sign up there, Lauren, for the entirety of the Ryan is making it about him segment, so that people know what's going on. And then when we resume our regularly scheduled, more selfless programming, the people will be aware of it. So the first thing I want to note in terms of the bad news, Elisa already knows the good news, but she does not know the bad news yet, because I want to get her genuine reaction. All right. This is something that happened to me earlier last week, Elisa. One morning, about Friday morning, as we record this, so about 3 or 4 days ago, I wake up to a knock on my door from a uniformed member of the Miami-Dade Police Department.
Oh no.
There's some good news, right? Because no one's ever going to, a cop never knocks on your door to just say, we just want to let you know that you're just a fantastic person.
Borrow a cup of sugar.
Yeah. Here's a fruit basket for just being a swell guy. Everyone at the station loves you.
Ooh.
I open the door and the officer just looks at me, points to the driveway and says, your car. That's all he gives me.
Oh no.
So you can imagine the whole universe of things that could your car mean. And so immediately I sprint out to my driveway to see what happened to my car. And I look, and at first I go, oh good, my car hasn't been stolen, because I see it right there.
Okay.
Until I look a little lower, and Lauren, I think you have a picture you can show everybody.
Oh no.
There we go.
No.
For the radio and podcasting audience, I can narrate this for you. My lovely, moderately priced sedan is up on 4 cinder blocks in my driveway.
Literally put your car on blocks,
Yeah.
my guy.
I thought that was just like an expression.
It's literally on
Yep.
blocks.
In the middle of the night, a group of enterprising, young mechanics, we'll call them, with all the speed and efficiency of like a NASCAR pit crew, removed all 4 wheels and tires from my automobile from my driveway while I was sleeping in the middle of the night and left the car up on blocks. And they did not even have the decency, viewers and listeners, to put them up on like good cinder blocks like you see in the movies. I mean, what do you call those blocks there, Lisa? Those look like the things like you border your garden with in a backyard.
Those that it's like lost pavers or like headstone markers from a local cemetery or potentially from an outdoor statue from some sort of nearby place of worship. I don't know. It doesn't look great. It's like moss covered and stuff, and also at a very precarious angle.
Yeah. Kind of amazing that those little guys can, support a 1.5 ton automobile. I mean, they're really doing some good work there, those little blocks.
Not your moderately priced sedan. Damn.
And so that's...
Did you have the spinnies on them? Like, is it like were they cool wheels?
That's what the cop asked.
Like,
that was just... That's what like the cop asked first. He's like, do you have like cool wheels? And I just kind of want to be like, all right, look at me, look at like how I'm dressed and just my general what I'm about. And you ask me if I'm ever going to have cool wheels and somehow decide to put my cool wheels on that particular automobile. Like in a real lipstick on a pig kind of approach. No, they were like pretty standard wheels that some folks in my neighborhood just decided I didn't need on my car anymore.
I mean, honestly, with gas prices the way they are these days, you know,
they're frankly probably doing me a favor. Like the most annoying thing about it was trying to get somebody to like tow my car or like, get my car out of there.
Yeah. How? Because
yeah. So I call the first mechanic or like body shop I call. I tell them the whole story. Middle of the night, cop knocks on the door. Your car's up on blocks. Sorry. And I say this, and then I say, hey, so can your can your body shop help me? And the lady on the phone goes, of course, sir. Absolutely. We're here from you. Just feel free to bring your car around at some point today. We'll get that taken care of.
No.
I'm like, ma'am, let me run through the story again. I want you to really pay attention to the last sentence.
I'm going to say this in bold and italics. On blocks.
Yeah.
No wheels.
It's like, I really am going to need door-to-door service on this one, unfortunately.
Oh,
So that's what we're dealing with right now. And normally, and we can take that down, Lauren, off. Yep. And get right back to Ryan is making it about him. That's what we want.
Too much.
Well,
dang.
and so you would ask, like, is this something that we can laugh about? Absolutely. It's hilarious. And
but it's not like you have anywhere to be in a couple of days.
Oh,
right?
yeah. So about that. Yeah. Normally, the thought of waking up to a cop in my front lawn telling me my car's up on blocks would just be enough to ruin my week and several weeks afterward. However, the good news that I have to share with you and with the podcasting folks out there in the visual medium and the audio medium is such good news that I mean, my car could be just like completely demolished, could, look like something look like an NPC in the Twisted Metal franchise. And yeah, that was a deep cut for the 90s babies out there.
That was for me.
That I still wouldn't care, because the good news I have to share is so good. I have not shared this publicly yet.
Really?
I have not put this on social media. No, but I mean, within the local kind of friend networks, but has not gone out on social media. This is a you heard it here first moment.
Oh, boy.
Sirius XM exclusive. We record this on Wednesday, so it is July 13th as we record this. On July 15th, assuming all goes according to plan, I'm going to be a dad. There we go. Yeah, I forgot. I played the wrong sound effect. That's the we're happy for one of our guests sound effect that I played, and I should have played the Ryan is making it about him kazoo. Yes. We have a little boy that will be joining us on Friday. So by the time this goes out on Sirius XM, I might already be a dad.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm over the moon. I'm so excited. People have asked, am I nervous? Am I concerned? Am I frightened? Am I overwhelmed? And yes, but it is just significantly overcome by a massive amount of joy and gratitude and just super happiness that I have to have this in my family. And I love that I'm sharing it with everybody here. Like the podcast has always kind of been around through my adult life growth. Like I remember telling the folks on this show 6-7 years ago when my wife and I got engaged, and then talking about the wedding on the show. And now here's the baby joining us. And it's fantastic. It's wonderful. We had the last ultrasound today.
Oh boy.
And he's a big old baby. As the internet meme goes in terms of size, he is in oh Lord, he come in territory. He passed Chonker a while ago.
Oh wow.
He's a big old baby. He is we just had his 36-ish, 37-week ultrasound. Kid is 8 pounds, 10 ounces. We are making D1 babies in the Kairalla household. And I don't know how. I'm not very big. My wife's not very big. And this kid's coming out of here like a freaking offensive tackle. It is, just thank God it's a cesarean section, let me tell you.
Bless her.
We did have the ultrasound today, and we were excited because this is the last one. We're supposed to get the really good pictures of the baby, high definition face and everything. And, we're going to finally really see what this kid looks like. This is the one. Because the other ones, you see him and he kind of looks like a seahorse a little bit, but there's a fully formed baby in there now.
Yeah.
And we're going to get what he looks like. And this kid was not having it. super camera shy. Had
Not
both
ready.
of his hands like up in front of his face.
No pictures.
Yeah,
Not
like he's
yet.
one of these white collar criminals doing a perp walk out of the courthouse, like, don't look at me.
No.
Not having it. And so we didn't get anything of his face. And just for whatever reason, maybe it was the angles or the lighting, like everything was coming in crappy resolution. We weren't getting like his feet.
You got the James Webb on that.
We're getting his fingers, nothing. Yeah. No James Webb telescope level clarity here. Until we get, and apologies in advance if you don't like sophomoric humor, just go ahead and do that 15-second skip on your podcast right now. If you're listening to radio, you're just screwed because you can't do that. But the only thing that came in perfect 4K James Webb clarity were these kids' testicles.
Hey, gotta start
Just-
OnlyFans.
I mean, like, and like the ultrasound tech even joked, "Do you want a picture of these?" I was like, "No, I can't keep these in my wallet. That's a felony."
We're fine. We're good. We have acknowledged
Yeah.
they
So-
exist.
We're just going to have to settle for the 3D rendering that we're going to get on Friday when this kid is born.
Yeah,
And
that's
I have no
better.
clue what he's going to look like. But
That's better. Just like the kid was like just not the face, not yet, not prepared. The lighting, you know
Yeah.
what? It might have been the lighting.
angles, you know?
Might not, you have to find like that golden hour light. You got to find that golden hour light. So,
Absolutely. Well,
get to
either
start,
way,
friends.
I could not be more thrilled for the little guy to join us. I just have a perpetual smile on my face.
Oh,
And now, so we can go ahead and take the Ryan is making it about him sign down, because this next piece that I'm going to talk about, while technically sort of about me in the sense that I'm kind of causing this, is really about everybody other than me. Because for the next 4 episodes, while I am attending to the birth of my little one and getting him acclimated to the world and doing swaddling. Oh, by the way, before I make this announcement, I should note, okay, one more thing about me. Let's put that sign back up. I got one more make it about me here that I'm going to talk about.
Yes, go.
So with respect to this baby, just want to let you all know, like, I'm not one to brag. All right. I understand there's lots of folks in this world who are better than me at many things. And so I never want to like toot my own horn. Right. But let me tell you something, viewers and listeners, and Elisa, I am so good at swaddling. All right. I know everybody says like swaddling is hard and like it's challenging and I can't figure it out. And they actually sell swaddles that are like what they call cheater swaddlers, where it's basically just like Velcro, so you don't have to like do it. But your boy's been practicing. All right.
Have you been practicing on a squirmy baby though?
Hey. Don't ruin this for me, okay? Because there isn't the point is I've been practicing and there isn't a single, basically every stuffed animal I've ever gotten my wife for the last 10 years has been swaddled.
That's amazing.
And like there are a few like stuffed like bears that have even been diapered because I've been practicing that.
Ooh.
But look, like
you have one.
this is
All
this is a little doll.
All right, let's
that,
check the technique here.
And I mean, just like he is like this little guy ain't going anywhere. He is impeccably swaddled. I got him right here. And so, but yeah, thanks for ruining me. Yeah. I have not practiced this under kicking leg and screaming baby conditions. But if the baby doesn't move and the arms and legs stay perfectly still, I got the swaddling down. That's all I'm saying. That's all.
You just have to pick your moment. You just have to pick
That's
them
right.
Just
That's
and then
right.
you're good. Just
But
full burritos.
it was the thing I was worried about. But like, thanks to my pediatric nurse sister-in-law, which is always a nice thing to have in your back pocket, by the way,
Hey.
and an unlimited supply of instructional YouTube videos, your boy's gotten good at swaddling. All right, that's it. All right, so let's all right. So now we're back to Ryan not making it about him and making it about everybody but him. So the baby's coming for the next few weeks. So I'm gonna be a little busy with that.
Just a tad.
Some folks have asked about like what will become of the podcast while I am, doing the baby thing. And the good, excellent, wonderful, fantastic news is that Break the Business will still be doing its weekly show We're still going to be on the radio and podcast live stream. When I say we, I don't mean me, because I won't be hosting for those weeks. For the next 4 weeks, Break the Business will be hosted by Elisa Rockdock.
Apologies in advance.
No. This is the textbook Elisa Rockdock imposter syndrome undersell it move. Let me tell you, all right? Like we got to talk about this, all right? Because Elisa, the gulf between your perception of your talents and your actual talents is so wide and vast that we could put it in the Arizona desert and it would be one of our national treasures. It would be the crown jewel of our national park system. All right. I'm so concerned about you hosting this show, not because it's going to be bad, but just the opposite, that it's going to be like when Jon Stewart let John Oliver host The Daily Show for 3 months when he directed that movie. And then nobody missed Jon Stewart. That's what I'm afraid of.
Oh, no. They will miss you a great deal.
I am thrilled for the perspective you're going to bring, though, because, again, you're talking about PhD in pop culture, musician, voiceover artist. You have a lot of cool things that you're doing. You'll be able to bring kind of the first person perspective to the shows, because everything that everything I talk about, it's secondhand, right? I work in the artist service industry. I help creators, but I am not myself one. And so
what are you doing right now, you silly goose?
I'm making it about me. And that's what I've been doing for the first half hour.
Saying you're a creator, dang it.
I mean, I play one on live stream. And so, like, I'm excited for them to get your perspective. And speaking of like cool things you're doing as a creator, I was so pleased to find out that you now have an agent.
I do.
Just fabulous, wonderful news.
I'll kazoo myself.
There you go.
Yeah, I have an agent, which means that officially, I guess my full-time job is to audition. Officially now, that's legit.
Man,
I'm very excited about it, though. The auditions have been really, really fun.
I mean, I wouldn't know what it means to get an agent. I've helped other people get agents by negotiating their contracts, but usually once they get the agent, like, I don't hear from the artist anymore because they're just off with their agent doing cool things. So, like, what happens now? Like, you're getting audition notices? Yeah. Like, is the agent like I'm imagining like kind of the the old lady who like smells like smells of cigarettes. I got a great pot for you, kid.
Got a great pot. I mean, yes, except it doesn't come in phone call form. Sometimes it comes in email form. So I have to like picture, hey, I know we don't have headshots yet, but I found this pot and I submitted it. I submitted you right away. I think you have a great look for this. Essentially that. Or like the cool thing is like they try to give us notice as much as possible, but some of these are like, please confirm, can you turn this around in less than 24 hours? I'm like, oh well, I'm going home from this thing and hopping in the booth, I guess. But it's really cool because it's like one of the things as an indie person before having an agent was like the idea of like, where do I find these things, right? It's like I was lucky enough to get a voice acting role in a video game, but that came through years of networking and my work in the game industry. But now I'm like, shoot, I want to do this voice acting thing full time. Where do I get those cool auditions? Where do I get those casting notices? Where do I find those so that I could submit myself? And it's a whole bunch of places and it's a huge grind. And one of the cool things about having an agent is like they are tapped in to a whole bunch of casting directors. They get contacted directly for roles, and then they pass those savings on to you, and then you pass your 10% on to them.
it do be like that.
Cool. Yeah, but it's really cool because it's like the caliber of things that I'm getting in my inbox is like, oh, this is real. Like someone who grew up, like my mom worked at an advertising agency, so I have a very like strong love and affinity and like weird hyperfixation on commercials and marketing and that whole industry, and especially like commercial voiceover work and commercial acting. So I feel like I'm very personally well suited for the job, but like to actually record the auditions where I get to like say fast legal lines. I actually got to do that once. And I was like, oh my gosh, I get to do this?
Not attorney spokesperson.
Restrictions apply. Please check site for more details. I'm like, oh my God, I get to So that has been like a really wild, like, oh, this is how it happens. You know, this is how like that ad that I skip on YouTube. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be my voice they're skipping, maybe. That's awesome.
I'm gonna be the one they skip.
I'm gonna be the one they skip. You know, maybe I could one day emerge tremfiant myself. You know what I mean? Like that's you know, nothing is everything. And I don't know. I'm really excited to see where this goes. I haven't been booked yet, but like I've gotten a couple of callbacks, and so it's been, I don't know, it's been a cool couple of weeks so far. No, I don't know where the ceiling is, but I'm really excited to keep chipping away at this and see how far we can take this thing.
I could not be happier for you, and it could not go to somebody more deserving, and that's going to be who's hosting Break the Business starting next week for the next 4 episodes. It's going to be a blast. You got some great guests coming up for the weeks that you're hosting. I think you have the CEO of TuneCore you're going to be interviewing next week, which, by the way, I'm so upset and kind of jealous about. I've been trying to get somebody from TuneCore on this show for 6 damn years. Like, we've gotten folks from CD Baby and DistroKid. TuneCore, for whatever reason, it's been stonewalling this podcast. We finally get somebody from TuneCore as a guest. And not only that, the damn CEO and, you know, friggin' kid gets born, can't go. Ugh. But I know it's going to be fabulous. And like, I'll be watching while like furiously trying to put like an angry infant to bed, and it's going to be fantastic. We have about 2 or 3 minutes, and I just want to briefly talk about this story real quick. So we get at least one story in before we talk to Helen Hong in the next segment. They came after a national treasure.
They did.
Elisa. They did.
They were like if you charted productivity on a thing, you would see a very significant dip.
Yeah.
Because of this very key, like life-altering, honestly, event.
They came after America's sweetheart. I'll just go ahead and say it. They came after the woman who is single-handedly responsible for our near zero unemployment rate in this country. She's the reason we're all working so hard. Elisa, they came after Lo-Fi Girl.
I know.
Lo-Fi Girl. On July 10th, after streaming continuously for over 20,000 hours, that's almost 3 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I know. She's just been Lo-Fi Girl. The YouTube channel, this is the Lo-Fi Girl channel, the creators of the immensely popular Lo-Fi hip-hop radio Beats to Relax and Study to, we've all frequented it from time to time, was shut down by YouTube without warning, much to the displeasure of the channel's 10 million plus YouTube subscribers. Basically, YouTube got a takedown notice and sent that notice to the Lo-Fi Girl channel, shut it down, saying that it had the channel had infringing music on it. It basically just streams lo-fi hip-hop music all day. Here's the problem. There was no infringing material. All of the music on the Lo-Fi Girl channel is released through the channel's label. They have all the necessary rights. Which, by the way, I was shocked to find out about. Like, I thought for sure like everything on that channel was bootlegged. Apparently, they're doing it by the book over at Lo-Fi Girl. Lo-Fi Girl wouldn't steal content. Yeah. This it makes this even more egregious. I was like, well, it was only a matter of time. But no, actually, it's only a matter of time before things came caught up with Lo-Fi Girl. No, Lo-Fi Girl is honest. She's just there sitting at her desk, studying hard, respecting intellectual property for 20,000 consecutive hours. But what the Lo-Fi Girl people, I like to think Lo-Fi Girl herself did this because she's very diligent, always working away at her desk. Yep. She, replied to YouTube saying, look, this is all legit music. And the Lo-Fi Girl folks actually like tweeted at YouTube and said, hey, what's going on? YouTube replied on the tweet that Lo-Fi Girl channel posted saying, you're absolutely right. The takedown request was an error and we're going to reinstate the video. As of today, Wednesday the 13th as we're recording this. The popular stream is back up. It wasn't up even as of yesterday, but we're back. Lo-Fi Girl is back, studying furiously at her desk. Thank goodness we can all get back to work. But what the Lo-Fi Girl channel situation, Elisa, is just a latest example of what we're seeing is a trend of abusive takedown requests where people, either because they want to stick it to some creator, will submit false copyright infringement allegations alleging that they are the owner of copyrighted work. And platforms like YouTube and increasingly Spotify are so afraid of being secondarily liable that they will shoot first and ask questions later. They will take down a channel without really kind of doing formal investigation, without giving the channel a heads up.
Yeah.
And so, like, with Lo-Fi Girl, I don't know how popular. I don't know if that channel makes a lot of money. I bet it does, given all the people that watch it. And when this happens to major labels, it's not really a problem for them either, because they have massive legal teams, and platforms like YouTube and Spotify are kind of so close and in bed with the labels that they kind of get different treatment. Where we're seeing this happen more, where I get concerned, and creators like you should get concerned, is when it happens to indie creators.
Yep.
False, abusive copyright takedown requests toward indie creators are becoming very common. If you want a little bit of gender intersectionality here, Elisa, it happens a lot to female indie creators. Some guy who decides, like, I'm just going to be an a-hole to a female creator will submit a bogus takedown request. And because that is an artist with not a lot of power, not a lot of leverage, Spotify will remove their music. And sometimes artists can be stuck for days, weeks, months trying to get Spotify to reinstate their music. And because they don't have a lot of power and leverage, Spotify will often drag their feet. YouTube is a little bit better with this than Spotify. Spotify, I think it was TechCrunch, just put out a whole article about how god-awful Spotify is with this. But it is something that really concerns me. And when you look at, say, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, which is supposed to be the law that kind of sets the terms for how these disputes are supposed to be negotiated, the law says if somebody submits a notice, then you take it down. But then if the artist submits a counter notice and says, hey, this isn't infringing, you're supposed to put it back up.
Oh.
But these platforms, probably because they don't use DMCA, they probably use like their own takedown procedure so they can get away with this. But they're never as quick to put back up the material as they are to take it down. And it's really hurting indie creators specifically because, again, the major labels, they don't get this treatment. It's just the little guys and gals.
Yeah, it's unfortunate too, because what happens is, like, in those days, in an algorithm based situation like a Spotify or YouTube, those like first few days after you upload something, those are some of the most important in terms of sharing and generating discoverability on the algorithm. So like even having your video down for X amount of time, that could hurt total viewer count over time, and especially if like strikes mount up and then eventually threaten the life of the account itself. Yeah, that's super dangerous stuff. I'm definitely happy that Lo-Fi Girl got hers, but it would be nice to see YouTube pay some attention to some of the smaller folks that maybe aren't making them as much ad revenue.
And this is not going to make sense when I say it right now, but I will explain myself. This is why I'm mad at Josh Hawley. So we talked about, well, there are many reasons to be mad at Senator Josh Hawley, but this is why in particular for this context. A few months ago, we talked about a story where Josh Hawley went on this crusade against Disney's copyright, where, he created this completely ridiculous federal proposed bill that was going to like terminate Disney's copyright duration, which would have violated the Constitution. It would have violated at least one international treaty. And it was just out there to kind of stick it to Disney because Disney had the audacity to say that, hey, gay people are people. And the reason why I got mad at Josh Hawley at the time is, in addition to like the incredibly homophobic, using copyright law as an instrument to be homophobic, what it also does, and what I mentioned on that episode was, It's so damn hard to get Congress to focus on copyright law. Copyright law is this thing that Congress does like once every 30 years.
Yeah.
And then once they do it, they're like, all right, we'll see you again in 2020, 2039 or something when we think we're going to do it again. So
Call me when Steamboat Willie's almost up.
exactly. It's so hard to get Congress to focus on copyright. And there's so many things that indie artists need, like, for example, a law that could give artists real recourse when abusive takedowns like this happen, that when Josh Hawley wastes even an ounce of legislative energy and congressional time on copyright by vendetta bills that just stick it to Disney and have no chance of becoming law, that makes me really upset because we have a lot of legitimate copyright problems that we need to solve for indie artists now. And we're wasting that important political capital and legislative energy on sticking it to Disney. And that stinks to me. So that's why I'm upset at Josh Hawley. Other than that, he's great. No notes. Just a fantastic person all around. Other than that, just his copyright law. That's what we're upset about. Yeah. All right. We're going to take a quick break. Excited as hell to be talking with Helen Hong, who's going to be joining us. Don't go anywhere. Keep checking out Break the Business.
Ryan Kairalla here. I hope you're enjoying the show, and I hope that you're getting a lot out of it. I do what I do because I care about creators like you. A lot. I've dedicated my career to helping creative professionals, entrepreneurs, and organizations move forward. I do it by hosting this program, and I'm also proud to do it in my legal practice. If you're a creative professional looking for solutions-oriented legal services to help you further your goals, I'd love to help. My firm RKPA does contracts, commercial law, copyright, trademark, and more. Visit rkpalaw.com to learn more. That's rkpalaw.com. Ryan A. Kairalla, PA, Miami, Florida.
Streaming services for Break the Business provided by LEK Entertainment. LEK Entertainment is a full-service entertainment company offering everything from consultations to full-scale events and productions, including audio and video productions, voiceovers, staged theatrical productions, script and music development, and streaming services. For more information, visit lekentertainment.com. LEK Entertainment wants to help you bring your story to life.
Thanks for supporting Break the Business. If you have a question or topic that you want us to discuss, email us at breakthebusiness@gmail.com. You can follow the host, that's me, on Twitter at Ryan Kair, and you can follow the show at the BTB Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the show on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, and on all major podcast platforms. And now, let's get back to the show.
Welcome back to Break the Business. Ryan Kairalla here with Elisa Rockdock, and happy as all get out to have y'all joining us here wherever you're checking us out, whether it's podcast platforms or whether it's the live streaming platforms or whether it is on Sirius XM 145 Slam Radio. Much love to the Slam Radio people for giving us a radio home where we are very much enjoying ourselves and putting our feet up. Let's go ahead and bring out... Oh, and we're sorry, yes. I'm sure the radio folks loved the Ryan making it about himself segment. Just exactly what they need at that station. Let's go ahead and bring out our guest this week. She is a fantastic comedian and actor who is well known as a regular panelist on NPR's Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. Her latest stand-up special, Well Hung, dropped last month and is available on all major streaming platforms. You can find out more about our guest's work by visiting www.helenhong.com. We are thrilled to welcome Helen Hong on To Break the Business. Hello.
Hello. Hi. So much I've been listening in the back room, and Elisa, congratulations on getting an agent. If I had a kazoo, I would kazoo you. This is my human kazoo. That's me with my mouth doing a kazoo.
That's a damn good kazoo, let me tell you.
Ryan, I think it's so cute that you think swaddling every stuffed animal in your house has prepared you for swaddling a real life human baby. You cute, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. I got this. No problem.
Ryan, as someone who has swaddled, as someone who has a 14-month-old baby in the house right now, I can tell you all the things that you prepared for are baloney. Baloney.
Helen, I'd like to talk to you about your 14-month-old
Yes.
because I was, first of all, because I need all the advice in the world. Because don't let the impeccable swaddling fool you. I am so afraid of like messing everything up.
Yes.
But I was listening to a recent episode of your podcast, Go Fact Yourself, on the Maximum Fun Network.
Thank you.
Of course. And you were talking to your host, the equally awesome J. Keith Van Stratton, about a story involving your baby.
Yes.
You were telling him about this custom in Korean culture. This is a ceremony where basically you have your baby pick out their career at 1 year old.
At 1 year old. Yeah,
Yeah.
because Koreans are not known for chill.
Just-
We
yeah,
have to
just like,
chill. We need to know at the age of 1 how to prepare this child for success.
set them on an irreversible path right away. Let me lay out for everybody how this works, because I had to look. I looked into this a little bit. So you play. It's a ceremony. You have your baby basically pick out their career by you place a bunch of objects in front of them that symbolize different careers. Like you might have a stethoscope there to symbolize medicine, a paintbrush to symbolize becoming an artist. Right. And you had mentioned on the show, Helen, that when you did this for your child, you actually changed it up a bit.
That's right.
Because typically one of the things that's commonly laid out for a child in this ceremony is a gavel to symbolize becoming a lawyer.
A tiny baby gavel.
Cute. But you and your sister decided to call an audible, and you replaced that gavel with a toy astronaut because you didn't want your kid to choose law. Now, I will say, as a lawyer, I am offended by this. But also, as a lawyer, I get it.
Ryan, I will say that from the little that I've interacted with you thus far, but also listening backstage and stuff, I can tell that you are one of the few lawyers that enjoys your work. That you enjoy law, you enjoy helping people using your law degree as being a lawyer. Like, you're in the right profession, and you're the only one. Because
that's a good testimonial.
As a Korean American, I know quite a few lawyers. You know what I mean? Like Korean parents are pushing their children to either become doctors or lawyers. It's like the number 2 professions that all Korean parents want their kids to be. And so I know quite a few doctors and I know quite a few lawyers. I don't know a single lawyer that is like, I'm just stoked to be a lawyer. Woo! I don't know. You might be the only lawyer that's like, yeah, I really like this. Like, I don't know a single lawyer that's like, that gets up out of bed and like, yes, let's go lawyering.
I'm going to lawyer so hard today.
Let's go do some lawyering. Yes. Yes. Hold me back from my lawyering. Yeah. So I do know quite a lot of miserable lawyers. No offense to the lawyers out there that aren't miserable lawyers. But if you are a miserable lawyer, I see you. I commiserate with you. I'm sorry that your parents made you do this horrible thing, but get out now while you can.
Oh man. Yeah, that's pretty much right. But I'll tell you, Helen, the reason why because you got me exactly right. I do very much enjoy the law and practicing it, and that is fully a consequence of the clients I get to work with. It is creators like you that are fun and interesting. Like, it's not some stuffy bank where I'm doing like weird regulatory stuff. It's helping cool creators do cool things. Yeah. And you really embody that, because like the stuff that you work with and like the folks that you work with, that seems fun. Like Elisa and I were talking before you popped in about the Maximum Fun Network. We're both big fans of it. We listen to a bunch of the shows on that network, and we just love the model of it. Like the idea of it's an artist-owned podcast network. And, so it's creator-centered, which is the stuff I like to work on as an attorney. So I'm down with that. What's it like working with that network? Do you love kind of the empowerment that comes with it?
I love it so much. And Jesse Thorne, the artist in question who owns the network, started the network, and it's featured on, he has his own podcasts on the network, and he's just such a great person. And really his ethos is just, he's really like, he was woke before woke, I feel. He's a white guy, but he grew up in, I think, Oakland, like in a predominantly black neighborhood, black and Latino neighborhood, and he was like one of the only like white kids in his school, and he just talks about this stuff openly. He has a trans child, at a very young age, who he's so supportive of, and he's the best. Like, he's like, I want to support artists of every breed, every color, every creed, every sexual orientation. I have a trans child, so I want to learn more and like be super supportive of that. And he's educated me on, on like, having trans family members and friends, and he's just the best guy. And the ethos of that podcast network, I'm just honored to be a part of it. I'm just so stoked to be a family, and the audiences there are so loyal. Like, they do a Max Fun Con, like a convention, like a Comic-Con, but it's only for Maximum Fun podcast listeners. And these people show up, and it's like summer camp for grown-ups, and people have so much fun. Like, it's so much fun.
Oh my gosh, that's lovely, and it makes me happy to know that Jesse Thorne is a good person, because
Really good
I was
person.
because he's like a hero, and I would hate for this to be like a never meet your heroes kind of thing. I love knowing that he's every bit as good of a human as he sounds on a microphone.
I know, and I'm a bad liar, so if he was a trash bag, I'd be like, mm-hmm.
Nah.
Yep.
Let's.
I'd be like, yep, that is a podcast network.
Jesse, see, here's how you'd know, Elisa, that Helen didn't like Jesse. It'd be this: Jesse, Jesse's Jesse.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he just does his own thing, you know.
It's so diplomatic. It's so true. It's so true. I love those diplomatic answers when you're like, yep. Yep.
He really doesn't care what anyone thinks about him, and I that's admirable, I guess.
Jesse is classic. Like, that's such a great, like, yeah,
Like-
he's yep.
Like that is the go-to like press junket. My co-star is a bleep hole move.
Yep.
Just-
Totally.
yeah. Let's talk about your new special, which I love. Well Hung. It came out last month. It is your first special since you've been off stage for a year due to COVID. What's it like for you getting back into the swing of things? I know that like COVID and quarantine has fit a lot into your material.
Oh my gosh. And I know a lot of comedians who really, they really pushed it. Like, they did shows before a lot of things were open. They did like outdoor shows. A lot of us were just doing Zoom shows over the pandemic. I am a germaphobe. And I'm like the kind of person that, like, I catch bronchitis every year. So I just have not a great immune system. So I was terrified of catching COVID. So I didn't do any shows for like a year and a half, like the whole first year and a half of the pandemic. And then, of course, I get this call from Comedy Dynamics, the company that produced my special, like, hey, we want to produce your special and we want to shoot it in a month. And I'm like, okay, sure. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And so I had a month to get up to speed on like taping like an entire hour of material for the special after a year and a half of not being on stage. I mean, it was bonkers. It was bonkers. But you know what? I rolled with it, and I think it turned out great. And thankfully, like, I've been doing stand-up long enough that it is kind of like getting back on a bike. Although the first time you get back on the bike, you're like, whoa, am I gonna crash? Whoa, the handlebars are going everywhere. Like, am I gonna crash? Ah! But I have been doing it long enough that I am I know how to tell the jokes and deliver the jokes and write the jokes. And it was a lot of new stuff that I incorporated into the special that was pandemic based, because I'm the type of comedian that just has to talk about what's going on in my life. So like, what was going on in my life was the pandemic and my new baby and, buying a house during the pandemic. Like, all that stuff is in the special because it was like what was really happening in my life.
Elisa, Helen has this super funny joke in her special about dating during quarantine and how, because we're all masked, like, it's, you're sort of like just, playing Russian roulette. Like, you don't know what, and and people can look like super hot with just like their eyes. And so you don't know what you're getting like behind the mask. And it actually reminded me of a story that happened to me a few weeks ago, Helen, that you're going to appreciate. So my mother-in-law lives with us. She's helping us take care of the baby, which is such a blessing. I love it.
Nice.
And I was taking my mother-in-law to the grocery store to do some shopping for the family for us while my wife is at home just being pregnant, because that's what she needs to do right now, because she's exhausted. So I'm at a Winn-Dixie, and I'm walking. My mother-in-law only speaks Mandarin, so like I'm trying to just like say things to her in broken Mandarin. Doesn't speak a word of English, and she's only been in the United States very recently. I walk away for like 5 minutes to go like grab a couple oranges off the counter. All of a sudden, I see this like guy in his 40s just saddle on up to my mother-in-law and just starts laying game on her.
No.
And he does this move. He does the move where he's like holding like some produce, and he's just like, I never know which one of these to pick. Is there any way you can help me? Which we can all agree, like kind of a slick move. The incompetent guy at the grocery store needs a woman to help him.
It's so like 90s rom-com.
Exactly.
Like
but
wasn't that
like
scene in Sleepless in Seattle or something? Like, like there must be a movie. That's
exactly.
A movie.
But like the thing is, my mother-in-law, she's old. She's a lovely woman. She's old, but when she's wearing a hat, a pair of glasses, a mask, and like kind of stylish, fashionable clothes, she could look anywhere from like 19 to 97. And this guy like just sees her in the produce aisle and is like, look at this smoke show.
Yeah.
I gotta make my move. And like I had to kind of walk up and gently explain to him, like, she's not going to be able to help you with your produce problem, dude. She does not understand a word you're saying. But he got caught up in that mask quagmire that she talked about during your special.
I'm telling you, and that was like that joke. I told it all throughout the pandemic, and it got the biggest laughs because it really resonated with people. Where I said, I have zero ability to tell how hot you are behind your mask. Like, and as part of the joke, I say, we've always been told that the eyes are the windows to the soul, and now we know that's baloney. That the bottom 2/3 of your face are doing all the heavy lifting, like because we've all had the experience where you can see someone with like super dark sunglasses and still tell if they're hot, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not the eyes, it's the rest of the face. But behind the mask, ooh, you don't know what you're getting. It's like it's the wild, wild west under that mask. Like you have no idea what's going on. And I've had the experience where I was like, ooh, look at that hottie patati, and they pull their mask down, and I'm like, oh no, oh no, what happened there? Oh no.
Oh my god. I know that things just kind of got generally crazy for you during quarantine, as they have for all of us, by the way. Did I read correctly that like you were stealing your dog's Xanax during lockdown?
100%.
First of all, didn't know dogs could be prescribed Xanax. What happened?
There's a whole huge chunk of this in my special, Well Hong, which if you're interested in dogs or Xanax,
and who isn't?
You should watch the special. So I had this whole chunk in the special about how I was so stressed out, which I think a lot of us were. I was grinding my teeth. I wasn't sleeping well. And I love Xanax. I'm not going to lie. Xanax helps me sleep like better than anything helps me sleep. And I don't even I'm not addicted. Like I take like a half or a quarter, and that just does me so well. Like on the occasional nights where I legit can't sleep, I will take half or a quarter of Xanax, and it's chef's kiss. Like, so it's such a great sleep. And so I ask my doctor, occasionally for like small amounts of Xanax, but I guess because of the opioid crisis, they've really cracked down on prescribing Xanax. And so I tell the whole story, all true story, about trying to get Xanax from a doctor. And she's like militant. She's like, Helen, I'll give you five Xanax, and then you come back and see me. And I'm like, what am I, in a halfway house? Like, am I in a prison like program right now? Like, I've done nothing wrong. So then I find out, I learned separately that you can get Xanax for your dog. And a lot of people get prescriptions for Xanax if they have very anxious dogs, or for the occasional, like if the dog needs to travel on a plane, or the dog needs to like get his teeth cleaned or something. Like you give the dog a little bit of Xanax to chill him out. I learned from a medical professional that dog Xanax and people Xanax is the exact same stuff.
It's the same Xanax.
You just have to mess around with the amounts. So the joke that I tell is 1 every 1 hour for you is 1 every 7 hours for the dog. And you don't have to wrap the pill in bologna or anything. You don't have to mix it in peanut butter. You could just take it.
Why not? Make it a party.
And that is a completely true story. Like I learned that from an actual doctor who was like, "Oh yeah, I ran out of Xanax, so I took my dogs." And I was like, "Wait, what?"
This freaking country, man. You want to get Xanax as a person, like you're filling out forms. You got to get like 17 people to sign off on it. Or you just say, "Hey, my Labradoodle's been feeling a little low lately."
That is correct. And your vet will be like, "Okay, no problem. Here's some Xanax."
Oh my God. What a fantastic loophole.
Give Buddy my best, and also this huge bottle of Xanax.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to find my cat and see if she's doing all right. You having some big feelings, girl?
Our guest is Helen Hong. Her special Well Hong is available now on streaming services from Comedy Dynamics. Helen, this has been an absolute blast. Thank you for putting smiles on our face. Thank you for turning your quarantine craziness into comedy gold to make us all smile.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. And yeah, check out Well Hong, Hong, Well Hong. It's a play on my last name, and it's a really
I just got it.
Get it? Do you get it? Do you get it now, Ryan?
I do have one more question for you before we go. It is the question that we ask all the guests on our program.
Okay.
And excited to get your answer to it. It is, do you have any last tips for the indie creators out there to help them move their careers forward?
It is, I hate to say it's all about who you know, but gosh, so much of life and success in almost every field is all about who you know. And what I mean by that is come up together, like especially like in my field, stand-up comedy and acting as well. You come up together. And so make the friends, like when you're an indie creator and you don't have an agent yet, or you don't have representation yet, or you don't have a label yet, or anything like that, make your friends now. Make the friends, make the connections, meet as many people, share your dreams, share your goals, share what you want to do and where you want to go, because those, your colleagues at that level, like everybody kind of rises up and you never know who's going to break through. Like I started stand-up comedy with Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer and I used to do open mics together when we were completely unknown comedians. And years later, Amy Schumer became Amy Schumer, and she got her own sketch show on Comedy Central. And she called me and was like, "Hey, I'd love to have you play a role on this show." And by that time, I was already living in New York, in LA. I'd moved away, and I was like, "No, man, I will fly back to come do a sketch on your series. That's awesome. Thank you for asking." But that's the kind of stuff. Like, make your friends now. Don't be a brown noser and try to befriend people above you. Make your friends now. Like, who's talented at your level now, and hold on to those people, because you never know who of those people is going to break through and have huge success. It might be you. You might be the one that brings your friends with you. It might be a colleague, a friendly person that you're always cool with, and then they suddenly become a breakout star, and now they're asking you to be in their movie, or they're asking you to open for them, or they're asking you to whatever. So, like, it's all about who you know. Make your friends now.
That is great advice, because I imagine there are a lot of people that are starting theater school right now that are going in with the mindset of, these people are my competition.
No.
I need to be better than them. Because I'm going to be auditioning against them, and I need to be the best in the class. And you're saying the complete opposite. That's not your competition. Those are your friends.
Oh my God. And that attitude of competition will bite you in the butt so hard. Like it is going to be, believe me when I tell you, and you can hear every famous person has some version of this story where they're like, oh, I knew so and so, we were college roommates together and we just stayed friendly, and then he became Tom Cruise or Tom Hanks or whatever, and now suddenly like he's asking me to be in his movie, or he's asking me to produce, or he's asking me to do this, that, or the other thing. Like it is, you never know who's going to make it, but you know who the talent is, and just befriend them and support them. And like, I, as an actor, read, was the reader for so many actors who have gone on to become series regulars on shows and like be in Marvel movies, and it's like, you never know who's going to make it, and just be friends with everybody and be cool with everyone, because people can only bring you up with them.
That's wonderful advice. Helen, congratulations on the special. Folks,
you.
check it out at helenhong.com. And thank you so much for joining us this week.
Thank you. Good luck with your baby. Oh my gosh. Good luck with the swaddling. It's going to be nothing like swaddling a bit. That's right here. I hate to tell you, Ryan.
Oh,
Squirming baby, nothing like an inanimate object.
all those stuffed animals for nothing. Nothing. Oh, well. And so we'll say again, for the next 4 weeks, this fantastic human over here, Elisa Rockdock, will be hosting Break the Business while I work on my swaddling on something that actually kicks and moves. And in the meantime, I'll be seeing you all very, very soon. Thank you all so much for checking out Break the Business. We'll see you next week.